I want to ask a few poll questions. Let's see. First, how did you hear about this webinar? All right, I'm going to close that poll now, and I'll share the results with you. Looks like most people heard about it from SugarCRM or some other magical way. The next poll we're going to ask is if you are currently using SugarCRM. This is just to get an idea of how to properly do this presentation for you. Looks like most people are currently using it. Close the poll now. Share the results with you. Most people are using it, and some people are not. And let's see. Are you? Have you ever used workflow management?
Actually, Alex, if you want some of those questions, I can go into in
okay.
the middle there. So actually, I had them.
All right, you want to wait? Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll stop this one now. Share the results with you, just so you know. 75% are not, or have not. All right, okay. I'm going to pass it over to Brian, the presenter from Ecogravity.
Okay. Thanks, Alex.
You should see your screen.
Yeah, everyone can see my screen here. So first of all, thanks everyone for attending the webinar here. If this is your first time or your second or third time in the series, we're going to be talking about maximizing sales lead management with SugarCRM workflow today. This is where we've been over the course of the series. The first one was a little bit of a primer and using SugarCRM as a lead generation inbound marketing hub. So if you are looking for information on that or just kind of an overview, you can actually go to our site or reach out to my partner or myself for information on that, as well as SugarCRM's Secret Weapon marketing campaigns, which Kevin O'Brien, my partner, touched on 2 weeks ago. And so today we're going to be talking about how do you use Sugar's workflow capabilities to really automate sales processes, marketing processes, and help you work more efficiently, lessen the slippage through the cracks of sales opportunities and sales tasks or marketing tasks. So we're going to focus on a few key processes, and we'll dive into that, and I'll actually do kind of a high level here on what is workflow management, what are we talking about, and then show you some specific examples and walk through the actual process from the standpoint of someone visiting your website and the process of a Sugar admin that needs to create these workflows within the system so that it's all tied together properly. So, sorry, I PDF'd this presentation and it just jumped up to the top. So a little bit about me. If you want to connect, you follow me on Twitter, Brian_Jameson, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Brian Jameson. I should show up there. And of course, if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to reach out to me. So what we want to try to do today is just provide a quick overview of SugarCRM and how it works, the management, show you an inbound lead, how an inbound lead can trigger automatic notifications and follow-up tests for your sales team or your marketing team. So, what happens when that lead comes in through the website, who's handling it, and how do we automate some of those things. Walk through the steps to create a basic lead notification. So show you how those leads, those automated notifications happen, but also show you the exact steps that you need to create a basic lead flow notification. And then also show you how the sales process can be automated as deals work their way through the funnel. So, if the stage of an opportunity changes from one stage to another stage or a specific stage, we can automate tasks for the salespeople or for managers so that they can go through those things and have insights into what's happening there and be aware of things as they happen in real time. And then lastly, we'll show you just a quick workflow, very basic workflow capability in Sugar that's a nice feature so that you can automate your sales report generation. And so you can receive those weekly, daily, really at any interval that you would like, but can be generated on any of the reports that are there in Sugar that you have created. So one important note is that you do need to be an admin to access workflow management. So if you are not, you may have a little challenge in this presentation, but follow with me and maybe it'll be useful here. Actually, I'm going to show you exactly where you need to go inside of Sugar to access that. So if you're in the home page, you are going to go to Admin at the top right. You're going to scroll down to where the Developer Tools section is located, which is right here. And you're actually going to click on Workflow Management. Right? So that's going to bring you to the module that we need to operate in to manage all of the workflow management. So that's the piece on how to get there. So staying along with our flow of the presentation here, you might be wondering, well, what is a SugarCRM workflow? What does all this stuff mean? In its simplest form, it's really, when X happens, then Y has to follow. So when a lead is created via web-to-lead form on your website, then an email notification has to be sent to a particular person. When a lead is converted, then a task needs to be created and a new opportunity needs to be created automatically. So what we're going to be focused on is really, those triggers, the X, what happens to X, and then Y, what needs to follow afterwards. Some important use cases, I think, that kind of brings it, from a development tool to really a business or marketing sales tool, is looking at the use cases of how SugarCRM workflows fall into the entire process of your sales or marketing team. Notifying your sales and marketing of new specific users or new leads, creating alerts of status changes, leads, cases, opportunities, or contact assignments. Essentially, you can create an alert on any of the modules when things change, data changes there, and you can create alerts based on those changes and either modify the record itself or create notifications to specific users or people that are on your team. You can assign leads or assign contacts, accounts to a user or a team automatically. You can automatically generate tasks or calls for your sales team to follow up promptly. And then you can even generate automatic emails to the contacts that complete the web-to-lead forms on your website. So if somebody downloads say a white paper and you would like to just send them a thank you alert, you could set it time-based. So maybe you want to send it a couple hours after they download it, and just say thanks for downloading the ABC white paper. Really appreciate it. And oh, by the way, if you have a chance, check out some of this. You might be interested in some of this other content we have on our website. So you're increasing the communication back to that contact, and then you're also keeping the conversation going and trying to cross-sell or cross-market some of the other content you may have on your website. All right, so let's move forward here. So actually, this is the question that Alex asked there at the beginning, and I think he said that 75% of people were using or were not using. I can't recall.
They were not using. 25% said yes.
25% said yes. Okay, great. And then the next question is, if you are using workflow management in SugarCRM, what is your main objective? And if you can display the answer options there, Alex.
Yep, just launched that. Just going to give it a few more seconds, waiting for some more people to vote.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to close the poll now. And let me share those results with you. Can you see those, Brian?
Actually, I can't, and I don't know if I'm looking in the
Okay.
wrong place.
0% for create notification emails to internal users. 50% said create new tasks and assign users task-based off of Activate, and then another 50% said create a new opportunity based off of
Okay.
activity.
Excellent. So, well, let's start to get into that stuff here. Oh, actually, there was one more here. What interests you most about workflow management in SugarCRM? I think there's two options, answer options there. And I believe this is the last question.
Yeah, it's either automate your marketing process or automate your sales process. Which do you prefer? All right, I'm going to close the poll now. And let's see, 56% of people said that they would rather have automating sales process. 44 said marketing process.
Okay. So a little bit split right down the middle there.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. All right, so let's go into the process to create a workflow for lead management, and this can be applied to sales teams, marketing teams. Going back to that poll question, there are a number of automated things you can do that one component may be an email, but there can be also associated actions to that, such as assigning users to a particular lead or creating a new sales opportunity. So I'm going to go into that here and kind of show you guys step by step. So as you can see on your website, you likely have, hopefully you have some web to lead type of forms, and that's what Kevin O'Brien, my partner, had talked about in some of these earlier webinars, is how to set up campaigns, how to set up web to lead forms on your website using Sugar, and how do you can connect those two. So what I'm going to show you here is just actually a simple form that we have. And this is from the perspective of the person that would come to your website. So I'm just going to fill this out. All right. I'm going to submit that, and that's going to generate the actual lead into Sugar, because that's connected behind the scenes here, and I can kind of show you if there's a few more technical people in the crowd here, you can kind of see this is what's going on behind the scene. This is the HTML, and we're actually passing all of this information over to Sugar, and I'll show you that in a second. There's also some hidden fields that we're passing here that are important to note that actually play into the Sugar workflow, which one is lead source, which is website, and the other one is lead source description, which specifically identifies the form that we're using here, which is contact form submitted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happened now. So within our leads module, so oops, if I can undock my window here. There we go. Okay, so you can see the form that I had just filled out there. You can click on that and see the status is new. You can see that, okay, here's some of the details. All right, they're looking for a marketing department, maybe some more information. There's our lead source description. There's our lead source. Okay, the campaign that it's associated with is there. So everything's looking pretty good at this point. So, So what's happening at the workflow level? Let's show that. So if we go back into our workflow management, so what's going on here is basically what we're saying is that when a field in the target module contains a specific value, such as lead source equals website, then these alerts and these actions are going to happen, right? So what happened in this case is that there's a few things actually. number one, it's going to update those fields in the target module. So in this case, I have it set up to assign the user ID as Kevin O'Brien. So it came in under my name, perhaps, or another user of Sugar, and we wanted to reassign that to Kevin O'Brien. And then, you know what, we also want to create a new task associated to that so that he knows that he needs to follow up. He's got 1 day, basically, to qualify that lead. So let's go ahead and take a look at the task so you can see what that actually looks like. All right. So let me do a sort. You guys are getting all the insights into we're actually using our live CRM here, so you may see some things that are specific to us. All right. So you can see here the assigned user is Kevin. The date it was created was just right now, and the subject line is qualify lead. So he knows now that he needs to go and qualify this lead, and he has the due date of 24 hours, I think is what I set it as. So within here, within the actual workflow tool, which I need to get back to here, all right, so we'll go into our website lead notification, and we're going to take a look at this here. So let's see what's going on. So when that lead actually came in, was generated, it actually sent out an email notification to these users in the system. So I'm going to open that up so you guys can see what that looks like. So you can see here, here's the email that came from the EchoGravity lead engine and based off of this workflow. So a new lead has been created, and all of these fields are dynamic, right? So I'll go into that here in a little bit, how we do that. But it automatically creates that email. If we want to view the lead, we can just click there, and it's going to open that up into a new window, and we can get into the CRM and start messing around with that lead. At the same time, this lead also triggered a task. Sorry, I'm logging into multiple browsers here, so it's kicking me out. All right, so what's happening here is that as soon as it triggers, it's going to create the task at the exact same time. So now Kevin has this task in his queue to complete, and what we want to do at this point is to keep automating the process at the top, you know, the pre-sales process or the marketing process or the top end of the funnel process where we're qualifying these leads that come through our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this task here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and just close. I'm going to click on the task. I'm going to go take a look at it, see if there's any interesting notes that I need to worry about there. But then I'm going to go to the lead. So I've talked with Brian, or I've done some research on his company. It seems to be a good potential partner for us or a customer for us. So I'm going to go ahead and convert that lead. So what happens now, when this lead is converted, this essentially is putting the lead as a qualified lead. And we have another workflow that's going to happen. Oh, I'm going to create some multiple contacts of myself. It's okay. I can ignore that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in here and show you guys what's happening now. So we just converted that lead, right? So I set up a workflow definition here. So when status of the lead changes to or from a specific value, in this case, we want to know when the lead status equals converted. So what's going to happen at this point is it's going to send an alert to the next person telling them, whoever that salesperson is, in this case, it's in this case, well, we need to assign it. which I'm going to get into here in a second because I don't want to jump around too much on you guys if I haven't lost you already. So back here to the converted lead. So assuming that we have the right user selected there, we're going to do a series of things. We're going to, number one, we're going to create a new task as, hey, it's time to follow up with these guys. We could set it to any user ID that we want. If you have a sales team or if you have a specific individual you want to assign it to, you can do that at this point. And then we're also going to create an opportunity at the same time. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to set it as a suspect. You may have different stages in your sales cycle or your sales process, but in ours, once it's qualified, we'll call it a suspect. We'll set it up as new business. We'll set the lead source. So all these little details are automatically created for us. So set date, the expected close date as 90 days from the trigger date. Set the probability. So there's a lot of things there that we can do that will help automate this process. So if we go and check this, we can go into our Opportunities tab. Just going to sort by date so I can get the most recent one. So here we see the suspect, and we have the updated close date there. And then we can go in here and we can associate it with the correct accounts and do things. And even in the workflow, if you wanted to get more advanced, you can dictate the account names and pass those values around. But for the purpose of keeping it simple and showing you guys just how easy it can be to create these new opportunities or new records based on some activity that happens inside of Sugar. To illustrate that, this is essentially how it goes from new lead to converted lead to new opportunity, while keeping each of the users engaged in the process and notified of each step in the process along the way. And we're also assigning, so it may be assigned to John on the new lead, and then it may be assigned to Mary on the converted lead, and we can do all that within that workflow management.
Hey Brian, we just got a question in just a minute ago. How do you round robin leads if you have several different salespeople?
In terms of automating the round robin, so you just want to send it to alternate between them?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, that's a good question. I've never had to round robin them, but what you could potentially do is let me take a quick look at that here. That may need to be more of a customized thing that you include here. So when you go into who's going to be assigned to this stuff, let's see here. All right, so if we want to edit this, yeah, I believe that would be more of a customized piece that you would need to include in Sugar there.
Okay, and one other,
yeah.
is what you're talking about right now available on the Community Edition?
I don't believe so. Or it
right.
may be in the Community Edition in terms of the open source version.
Yes.
I would need to double check, but I believe so. We're on Professional, and we use the on-demand for most of our client stuff, so I'm not too familiar with the Community Edition.
Okay, yes, we'll have to look into that then.
Any other questions? I've been kind of flying through some of this stuff here.
That's it so far.
Okay. So here, you kind of got the process at a high level. So what we can do now is actually walk through step by step, how that works. So let's go ahead and go into our admin. Oh, wrong browser, sorry. Okay, where is it? All right, here we go. So if we go back to our workflow management tool, I'm going to come in here. So the first thing that we need to do is you're going to hover over that module and you're going to click on Create Workflow Definition. There's a few things that you want to watch out for here, right? So you want to think about what is going to trigger the workflow. Is it going to be record-based or period of time elapsed? So maybe you want to create a task a day later or a week later, or maybe it's a follow-up task or something, and you want a period of time to elapse before it triggers the workflow. So, but in this case, we're just going to do it around record save, and we're going to do in the leads module is really the focus of the conversation today. So if we go back there, we're going to say, call it test workflow. Let's see, so record saved, I want to keep that. I'm going to go find my leads module, and I'm going to apply it only to new records because I don't want, someone on the sales team, update something. I don't want it messing with my workflow definition there. So I'm going to save that, come back here, and we're going to go to the next step in the process, which is creating the email template. So this is what I showed you before on the really the email template and what's getting passed there and some of this dynamic information. So let's go into our back to Sugar here. So you can see there's no conditions, no alerts, no actions yet. But before we get into that, we want to go ahead and create the email template. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to cheat a little bit because I already have it configured the way that I want. But I'll also show you exactly what's going on here. So I'm just going to grab this kind of code, and then I'm going to come back to my alert email templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the module that I want to create the template for, click Create. So we'll just call this Test Email. And we want to link to the record. Let's see here, related module. We don't need to worry about related modules right now. So Test Email. So, and I'm going to take all that code I took from the other email template, and I'm going to plug it in here. So really what I did was, I just saved myself time from recreating everything. So what you can do is actually use this little tool here to insert different data fields or data sets. So for example, I may say, hi, and then insert the first name, so I can create a little bit of customization. So really what's passing here is a new lead has been created in SugarCRM and this is passing that lead source description. Their name is this, and that's passing their first name, last name, right? Their title is this, and this is all the fields that the contact had filled out. So really all you need to do is find that field in here. You can even include custom fields, or if you're developing, like we have a custom list here, what do you need? And that's what's actually down here that we include in our email templates. So I'm good with this. I'm going to go ahead and just save it like that, so we have it ready to go. So we have our extra email template there. We'll go back into the workflow definition to our test workflow. So now we're at the point in the process where we need to actually create some conditions, set our alerts and then set our actions. So we'll come back to Sugar, and we're going to go ahead and create the condition. So the condition in this case, I'm going to do it a little bit different than just purely a lead source. I'm going to actually say when a field in the target module contains a specific value, and you have all these options here. And, depending on what your needs are, you can choose to create a condition based around those needs. But I want to see when a field in the target module contains a specific value, I want to trigger a workflow. So, okay, the next step is going through this little wizard here. When the value of a specific field equals, or which field, in this case I want lead source description. And this is, going back to what I was showing you in the source code. This is one of those hidden fields that we're passing down here in the lead source description, and I want it to equal contact form submitted. All right. Oops, I lost all my windows. Okay, so when this equals contact form submitted, then it's going to trigger my workflow. We'll save that. And we'll see our condition get set up there. If you have multiple conditions, you can create multiple conditions to trigger a workflow as well. So, but for the purpose of simplicity, we'll focus just on a few key things here. So now I'm going to go ahead and create my alert. This is why we actually created that email template. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll just name it test email. Important thing, so when you can create just a regular message here and just some alert text. So if you just want to say, hey, a new lead is created, you can do that here, or you can choose your custom template, right? And that's what we created, and that's the reason why is because you're going to get a lot more insights and be able to do a lot more by creating a custom template than just throwing some text in there. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I need to create my recipient list. So in our case, you have all these options really. A user associated with target module, recipient. This would be somebody that filled out the form. If you want to send them an email. In this case, we'll say all users in a specific team. And the team we're going to look for is global because we just want everyone to get it. But you could do sales management or specific teams within there, and you could tag as well. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. That should pop up there. I'm going to return to my workflow definition. So now we're 2/3 of the way there. Actually, you could stop at this point if you didn't want to have any other actions. You just simply wanted to create the lead notification. But based on the poll earlier, we know that a lot of people want to know how to assign users and create those new tasks or new opportunities. So that's what we're actually going to do in the actions part. So we're going to go ahead and create. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually, the first thing we're going to do is update fields in the target module because I want to assign that lead to somebody. So I want to modify the assigned user, and you can modify all of these fields that you have available there if you had a need to change it to something else. So we're just going to go ahead and choose that, and we're going to choose who we want to set the user to. In this case, I'll set it to myself. We'll save. All right, so this is the first action is now done. So now we have created the action, so now that all of these leads that come in will be assigned to me. I also want to go ahead and create a task, because now that it's assigned to me, I want to have the task there in Sugar, because if it's not in Sugar or if it's not in your CRM, then it doesn't exist, and that's how things fall through the cracks. So I'm going to go ahead and create a record in a module associated with the target module. So this is creating a record versus updating it. So we're actually going to create a whole new record here. So I'm going to click on that, on the record, and I'm going to go down to the module where I want to create the record. So you can create a record in any of these modules within Sugar. So in this case, I want to focus on task. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to go next. And this is where I can set the subject of my task, and I can do some different things here to talk to the due date. So I want to modify that. Let's see what else here. Maybe start date as well. So I'm going to set the subject here and say qualify contact lead. We'll save that. We'll set the status here as in progress. We'll set the due date here, and I want to do it from, I want to stay on top of my lead, so I'm going to do it 12 hours. So I have 12 hours to basically follow up with my lead here from the triggered date. And this could also be any series of dates there. Save that. The start date, we'll do 0 hours. So I want it to start right from the get-go. And we're going to set the priority as high, because I know that these leads that fill out the contact form are typically high-quality leads that come through. So I'm going to go ahead and save all this. So here we go. So here you see we created the new task, and we're updating the fields in the target, which we set as user ID to Brian. So this is our new workflow. At this point, you're pretty much at the tail end of what you need to do. You could easily test your workflow by just simply going to leads in this case. You don't need to go through the whole process of filling out a form on your website if you don't want to. This is really the part in the process where you want to try to make sure it's all working correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a lead. So we'll call it, fit for the NBA playoffs. We'll create LeBron James here. All right. Okay, we'll do some more information. So I want to do lead source as website, and this I want to say is contact form submitted, because remember, that's what I set my trigger as. And let's see, I think I'll say as new. Other than that, I think everything should be fine. So I'm going to save that. Now this should trigger the workflow. Oh, there's a few LeBron James records in our CRM already. As you can tell, we've tested it with that name before. But we'll just go ahead and save it anyways. All right, so let's go ahead. So now we can test, and let's go into the lead here. Let's see who it's assigned to first, and then we'll go ahead and see if the task was created. So you can see here it's created. Let's see who it's assigned to, and you could say here it's assigned to Brian, right? And then let's go into our task and see if that workflow or if that action worked effectively as well. So here we can see, actually it triggered both of them because I had the other workflow in there. But you can see this is the one that I created lead converter. It's time to follow up with them. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It was this one, the qualified lead, related to LeBron James, and here it's assigned to Kevin. So that's what's happening on the back end. That it's triggering those actions, whether it's creating a new record or just sending the alert to them. So if we come back here, we finished our process. And the end result is what you view as that notification. And then we tested our workflow. And some more examples of workflow management. So we actually did go through the converted lead and what happens when we convert it and creating the new opportunity. There's obviously a lot more advanced features that you could do in that case around opportunity creation and automating some of the sales process around that. We didn't go through this automated email to the contact who submitted the lead form. Let me see if I have a email here, because that's another workflow that I have set up there, but I didn't walk through it here today, so let me take a look. You know what, it's not going to, this might be it. No. Yeah, I think because I didn't fill out the email field on the form, it didn't trigger that. But if that's something that you guys are interested in, shoot me an email afterwards, and I'd be happy to help you with that. Just another thing that Kevin, I know, touched on, another way to integrate workflow stuff is using some plugins that work with Sugar. Inbox 25 is one that you can do nurture marketing with, and works very closely with similar features of the workflow management module. And then you can also automate report generation. This is a pretty simple task. If you're just looking, hey, I need every Monday morning, I want to see the sales pipeline. You can just go into your report module. And let's say I want to find one of these sales pipeline. Let's see here. Open opportunities. Here we go. And I want to go ahead and see our pipeline by user. So this is actually the schedule. You can't see at the top there, but this is what we use to click on to schedule the report. You can see it here. So I want to see the pipeline by user. I'm going to click there. This is going to open up another little window, and you can set your start time. So in this case, I want it to start on Monday. I want it to be there by 9 a.m. It's active. It's every week. And that's pretty much all you got to do to schedule your reports. Update that schedule, and then you'll see it pop up into your report module here. You do need to make sure that you have, and this might be a little bit more on the admin side if you have a technical person, but if you do have access there, you want to make sure that the scheduler is set up to actually generate those reports. And I'm not sure if Sugar does that by default, or you need to come in here and actually set that up. So you can see here the report generation scheduler is running, it's active on the hour every hour, so we should be in good shape there. We don't have to worry about this reports not being emailed out. And I think that concludes pretty much everything here. I mean, just to wrap it all up, what's the impact to your business? Using workflow management, you get real-time lead notification, lead assignment, automate creation of sales tasks, manage your leads more effectively, more efficiently through to the sales funnel, reduce the amount of leads and things that are falling through the cracks, and then automate communications with people that are engaging with your content on your site or filling out lead forms, and automate those communications to a certain extent to keep the conversation going. So that wraps it up, and it also wraps up our webinar series here. Hopefully, you found some benefit in learning a little bit about how to do lead management with SugarCRM workflows and automating some processes. Were there any other questions or?
Yeah, Brian, one more question has come up. If you use Outlook, can you still schedule a report to be emailed to you?
If you use Outlook. I guess I don't understand the question. How are you using Outlook?
Let's find out.
I guess one of the ways, I mean, it shouldn't matter because it's just going to your email. So that report would be emailed to you on a weekly basis. So whether you're using Outlook or whether you're using webmail or
okay, so
Apple,
she's not emailing through Sugar. She's emailing through Outlook.
Emailing through Outlook. Well, regardless, your email is set up there, so it's going to send to these reports here. So you set up users inside of your system that you should have an email address that's assigned to the users. So depending on who you want to receive those reports, it would just be sent to that email address. However,
okay,
there is, if you share my screen here, there is a plugin for Outlook that is an archive to Sugar, create a new Sugar record, sync to Sugar functionality that you can install. So check out your admin panel, and I believe just go to your, actually if you click on your name, that might get you there. Yeah, so click on your name there. If you're an admin, you should see a downloads tab there, and that has all these little plugins that you can use for Outlook. But I'm not sure that it really ties into the report thing. That's more of archiving emails and syncing tasks or syncing calendars. That's typically what you would use that for.
Okay, thank you. Really quick, I got 2 more questions for everybody. I'm going to launch one more poll asking you how valuable this webinar series has been to you, either today or the entire series. And then I'll have one more question about an upcoming webinar to find out how interested you are. Okay, and one last question. Would you be interested in a webinar of the step-by-step creating sugar campaigns? Looks like everybody is interested. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Um, that concludes the webinar series for Marketing with SugarCRM.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian and Kevin and Michelle, if you're there, and everybody who attended. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.